Honorable Minister, UN Country Director, and distinguished colleagues and all at table. I'm sorry I couldn't come in time these days. We are very busy time due to the budget involvement. I'm not going to make a formal presentation as Dr. Kalegama mentioned. I listened to his speech, which was much in line with what I am supposed to talk basically. If you look at this report, while I was in the table, I was talking with the Honorable Minister. This report, as the previous speaker mentioned, is focusing more on the equity. Environment, my subject is basically environment, I'm supposed to talk, but this more interrelated, but about social aspect, economic aspects, and throughout the report we're talking about the equity, whether the progress or development of the country is at the cost of equity, but we don't want to accept that. So that's what the report is talking mainly in a nutshell. If you look at the Dr. Kalego mentioned that if equity is compromised and that development has no value basically. So environment aspect, if you look at the report, is throughout. I just went through. I couldn't study the whole thing, but I went through in the morning. But if you look at the report, has focused most on the environment aspect. Why that the report consider entire human development aspects is relying on the environmental sustainability. Unless the environmental resources, forestry and the biodiversity, ecosystems and the environmental input, air pollution, we are talking everything, carbon dioxide emission, if we do not consider these things into the development, even though you achieve the human resource, human development index, which is very short term, that's what the report is talking about. The report category will say the progress at the cost of what? If the progress achieved at the cost of environment is not sustainable, that's what it's talking about. Particularly the report talking about the poor people, whether the development has impact on the poor people, and also if because of development, if the environment is polluted, the poor or vulnerable group will be the most affected party. That's what it's talking about. Then the report talking about the low-income group vulnerability, particularly they are talking about indoor air pollution, forestation, whether a lot of countries, the poor communities are relying on the natural resources, forest, and so on and so forth. Then what would happen to their livelihood if the forest management, community forest management are not addressed properly? So those are the key things. Then mainly they are talking about the distributional effect of the environment. So then the report is talking about whether the constitution, how much the government recognize the environment into the development aspects. Particularly the report says a lot of countries has recognized environmental equity in their constitutions. We know Sri Lankan constitution in 1978, if you look at this, has recognized fully the right of the environment, right of the people to protect the environment and the environment health. Those are the key things. If you look at the report by somebody, and if you read the Mahindra Chintana, our national development policy framework, which is almost looks aligned basically. It looks like Sri Lanka is basically focusing more on the integrated approach. His president is talking always on the environment. That's why we're talking with the Honorable Minister and to protect the environment. So we have to improve the equity. If you look at the government development program, our entire development program is focusing on the regional distribution. Regional impact, reduce regional impact. I didn't bring my report, I saw the previous presentation. The government strategy is to identify the lagging region, lagging provinces, sometimes poor provinces, to improve their livelihood, improve their infrastructure. Electricity, our target is to have 100% electricity, the 100% motorable road to connect. Our target is to connect all the roads, all the houses with the motorable roads, and the water supply, so IT and all communication facilities. So we thought if we can improve the infrastructure across the country, including poor and all vulnerable groups. So at least we can address the so-called equity issues which are addressed in the report. So Sri Lanka, in a way, we are successful. The last 5 years, we have been able to achieve 100% electric target. Road network has been improved. National road network has been already developed. Now this year target is to actually make sure there are 24,000 kilometers of provincial roads and about 75,000 kilometers of rural road. We are implementing aggressive campaign to develop these rural roads, which are very important. A lot of roads are in the agricultural communities and rural poor communities. We believe once this rural network of road is built, so we can address a great part of equity concern which are addressed in the report. So when you do that, we consider the environment as one of the key aspect input to the Sri Lankan development. If you look at the Mahindra Chintana policy framework, we are planning to sell or use the environmental integrity, environmental resources or value of the country to the competitive advantage for Sri Lanka. Because a lot of countries should have some sort of value or asset to share with other countries, saying, look, we are good in IT or we are good in something like this. For Sri Lanka, we are promoting the environment as one of the key things. So the report, if you look at the report, fully recognize that. So our approach is to integrate the environmental concern into the development policy fully. That's the very reason one of our largest project of like infrastructure project like Khambam to the port and the Birravilla airport. Actually, the president has directed we must convert them to green ports, and we are thinking even the road development. When we road development, we must consider environmental. Of course, we have been doing environmental impact assessments for all the major projects in the last 30 years. But now, in the past, to be honest, we have done this environmental impact assessment in a way it's for the sake of doing analysis. But now we have go little beyond taking further steps, not just environmental impact assessment, but we want to make sure those roads are fully sustainable. So we have now in the future road we are including, for the example, building like planting trees along the roads. So Honorable Minister is well aware. They are going to give the guidelines for the contractors. When the road is built, the contractor himself must plant trees along the road and give it back, which is a significant impact steps. We know that having a tree planted along the road is costly, but still government don't want to compromise the cost. We believe once we do that, our development is integrated with the environment. There's a huge similarities in our national development program and the human development program. So if you look at our program, I want to go through some of the few points. And Mahindra Chintana policy framework giving very good targets for the environment, so which all the ministries are supposed to implement. Most important thing is actually the president is talking all the time and directing the all ministries to follow as much as possible the environment aspect. We have given the clear targets, which is almost in line with the, if you look at the report, the target given in the report has mostly captured in the our program. Industrial pollution, for example, we are trying to introduce at least cleaner production. At least 10 to 15, 25% of the industries must adopt cleaner production policies by 2016. So by 2016, we are going to achieve great number of environmental indicators. For example, 80 to 100% of industries should have a hazardous waste collection disposal facilities. At the moment, of course, they are developing, but we have given the target to them. Pollution load from the industries must be reduced at least by 10% during the next few years. Our target is to at least 80 to 100% industries must be located in the industrial parks. So we are trying to discourage the industries which are located in the residential and urban areas and push them to the industrial parks, which is a significant impact policy decision we are going to make in order to protect the environment and since we recognize environment as a very important area. Urban environment is very big concern for the government. We know that clean cities and green cities, our theme. We are going to convert Sri Lanka as one city in a way. Sri Lanka is island anyway, like Singapore. We want to have urban development as a considering Sri Lanka as one city. Colombo is focusing one aspect, and the goal is something else. And in the middle, we have more open spaces and agricultural biodiversity, and also so forth. We are giving target for all the cities. For example, how much waste collection must be done, what is the air pollution load, what is the particular matter pollution, and so forth. We have already implemented this vehicle emission program, and air pollution is a great concern. So we are going to develop a full network of urbanization program to spread the urban population across the country, and with the satellite cities around the major cities. So therefore no undue pressure on the one or two cities. So we have a entire country as a kind of a demarcated for various purposes. So municipal waste collections and the sewage disposal has been given priority. Next few years, we are going to invest large sum of money for that area. The forest cover, our very key target everywhere possible. The government is encouraging to have a forest plantation. I think Ramesh must have mentioned those points. I don't want to talk very much about. Our target is to make sure at least more than 30% forest cover. Deforestation, wildlife is coming up a great way. In nutshell, I don't want to give a detailed target. If you look at the Minditindana policy framework, we have clearly identified quantifiable target for direction. So these are the basic points. Our approach is to integrate the environment into the development planning and not to address environment in isolation. We just talking to Honorable Minister. Our target is to reduce the regional disparities and improve the livelihood of the poor people. Dr. Kalaigam talking about 60% of our people are informal sector. That is one of the model for Sri Lanka, in other words. So because informal sector, their wages are getting higher and higher. So in the past, informal sector is the great concern for us because most of the informal sector people have a low wages. Now things are changing. Now even informal sector, the salaries and daily income has gone up. Sometimes some informal sector employees are getting salaries more than the top class middle level managers in country. So this way actually we can improve some of the environmental impact that they might cause. In the past, these informal sector people must be agricultural sector people, though may like deforestation, for example, have a lot of impact on the environment, which is now gradually going down. Therefore, I think if I summarize the report is well within the Sri Lankan development line. Possibly we have addressed most of the resources they're talking about. Possibly the report is not for us, possibly some other countries, possibly. What the target we're talking we have achieved. So because Sri Lanka is anyway try to project Sri Lanka as a green country, and to request the international donors, international investors to invest in Sri Lanka just because Sri Lanka is a clean and green country. Therefore, we will not compromise the environment anymore because that's the only development input we have. So we will market continuously environment sector. Therefore, in future, we will invest more and more on the environment sector. Therefore, this report is well within our line. So our target is to reduce the inequality among the region and also the different groups, through that to address environmental issues. So thank you very much.